لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته وسار على نهجه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, indeed, I enjoin upon you and upon myself the fear of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Inshallah, what we will be reminding or withdrawing our attention to in today's khutbah is for us to ask ourselves these questions, or this question, that is, checking yourself, asking yourself, what are you to Islam, or what are you to the Ummah? Are you, an asset to Islam or a liability to Islam? Are you a blessing to Islam or you are a calamity to Islam? Are you one who supports the deen, who supports Islam, or who supports the Ummah, or someone who, whose action affects the Ummah? To answer this question, because you know yourself better than anybody. You can judge yourself. And that's why our Messenger said to us in a hadith that Al-Kayyis man dana aw hasaba nafsah wa amila lima ba'da al-maut wal ajiz man atba'a nafsahu hawaha wa tamanna 'ala Allah al-aman. The Messenger says in the hadith that Al-Kayyis, he says the wise one. Mandana is the one who examines himself, who scrutinizes himself, وَعَمِلَ لِمَا بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ, and works for what comes after death. And then he says, وَالْعَاجِزِ, the unwise one, or the, unintelligent one. He says, مَنْ أَتْبَعَ نَفْسَهُ هَوَاهَا, the one who follows his whims and caprices, the one who follows his selfish desire, وَتَمَنَّ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْأَمَانِ, and then keep putting, unrealistic hope in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Sometimes someone does whatever he likes and he says, Allah Ghafurur Rahim. Yes, we know Allah is Ghafurur Rahim, but not to everybody. To those who deserve it. Allah is Shadidul Iqab, is also Ghafurur Rahim. So He is Ghafurur Rahim to those who deserve it, and He is Shadidul Iqab to those who deserve it. That is, He is oft forgiving, most merciful to those who deserve that, and He is also Shadidul Iqab, that is, His wrath is very, very severe to those who deserve the wrath. So as a people, being able to answer that question will help us a long way in solving our problems. Anyone who is an asset to Islam, that means he is going to do things, or he will be doing things, or he is doing things that will lead to the progress of Islam, that will lead to the progress of the Ummah, that will make people to love Islam, or that will make people to love the Muslims. And anyone who is a liability to Islam, he is doing things, or will be doing things that will make people not to like Islam, that will make people to misunderstand Islam, that will make people not to want to be Muslims. No deen is as good as Islam. No deen is as organized as Islam. No deen protects humanity. No deen, helps humanity like Islam. But people can only understand this from what they see in the Muslims. Because not most people have time to read. Yes, those whom Allah bless may be able to understand Islam from reading Islamic books or the right Islamic books. But most people judge Islam from what they see the Muslims doing. And I usually tell brothers and sisters, there's a bit of distinction between Islam and a Muslim. Islam is the deen. Islam is the way acceptable to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. While Muslims are people who claim that deen. So not all Muslims are believers, but all believers are Muslims, and all believers are good Muslims. There's a difference between a Muslim and a believer. That is, a believer sincerely believes in Allah and he is ready to live according to the dictates of Allah Ta'ala. That's a sincere believer. And we can say a believer, a real believer, that is a practicing Muslim. We have a practicing Muslim and a nominal Muslim. You see a practicing Muslim, you will love to be Muslim. And when you see a nominal Muslim, you will hate Islam. That's why we have a scenario where one servant of Allah Ta'ala who accepted Islam was saying that he, after accepting Islam, reading about Islam, coming to understand Islam, accepted Islam, then seeing the behavior of some Muslims, that he was saying that he thanks Allah Ta'ala who enabled him to know Islam before knowing the Muslims. So had it been it were the Muslims he knew first before Islam, he wouldn't have accepted Islam. Because to be candid, if most of us will check our lives, we will discover that we are liabilities to Islam. We are a problem to Islam. Only few are assets to Islam. Because most of us today, our ways of doing things are contrary to the teachings of Allah Ta'ala. A Muslim is someone, or a Muslim who is an asset to Islam, is someone who truly believes in Allah Ta'ala and have taken the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam as his role model. And anyone who takes the Messenger sallallahu as his role model, everything he does in Islam, or in his life generally, he will try as much as possible to see that it goes in conformity with the Quran and the Sunnah. Allah Ta'ala said to us in a verse of the Quran, precisely in Surah Al-Quran, Allah said, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Allah said, in the Messenger sallallahu there are a lot of good qualities, a lot of good moralities for you to emulate. And no aspect of your life is not Islam. Because today some of us think that there is a period whereby Islam have nothing to do with it, and there's a period where it belongs to what? It belongs to Islam. A good Muslim believes that 24 hours that he knows, every second of his life belongs to who? Belongs to Allah. Because you believe that Allah Ta'ala is documenting every single thing you do in your life. The way you talk, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you walk, the way you look. Nothing is not documented. Everything. What you listen to. And that's why if you don't take cognizance of that, may Allah forbid, that some will be one falls within those that will come on the day of judgment, when their book of record has been given to them, they will be saying, مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. That is, they will see what kind of book is this. لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً, that never crosses, that never neglect anything, صَغِيرَةً, no matter how minute, وَلَا كَبِيرَةً, how big it is, إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا, except what? Take cognizance of it. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. Allah said, and they will see whatever they've done, being what? Presented before them. And Allah said, وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. Your Lord will never oppress anyone. Wherever you go to, if you are going somewhere, it's either you are going to where you will have reward, or you are going to where you will have sin. No place. And that is why as a Muslim, even the toilet, you have your what? The guideline as to how you enter the toilet as a Muslim. Which leg goes in first? What do you say while going in? Which leg comes out first? What do you say while coming out? That means that there is guideline pertaining to how you do everything in your life. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, we need to, from time to time, continue to ask ourselves this question. We want the world to change. We feel things that are happening around us are not going the way we want. Or it should. But I want to tell you something. You cannot break Allah's rule. That's for sure. Take note of this. You can break Allah's rule and get what you want. There's one thing with life. You can do something, but in most cases, you don't have control of the result. You have control of the action. You can slap somebody. That's your decision. But you don't have control of the reaction. Yes, you can buy what you want. But what will happen with what you bought with your money, what it will cost you, you can only assume, but you are not sure. Yes, you can take your money to buy the best car, but that car may be the cause of your death. Yes, you bought what you like, but in order to snatch that car from you by someone else, that's why you will lose your life. You can give back to your child. You are happy having that child. But what will that child be to you? You don't have full control. You can only try your best. That child may be source of joy to you, and that child may be source of pain to you. Yes, you see the lady you want. Yes, you want her, and you will do everything at all costs to what? To have her. But you don't know, after she gets in, she may be your source of happiness, and she may be your source of sorrow. She may be the cause of your, having a long life, inshallah, with the blessing of Allah, and she can be the cause of your death. So there's one thing you must understand about life. The world or your life, you have two parts. Certain percentage of your life, Allah left the control to you, and He will question you for it. In certain aspects of your life, He took 100% charge, so He won't ask you about anything about it. So they are somehow connected. So the ones you have control, you act. Then the end result sometimes have connection with the one he also have control. Yes, when you go to do business, ordinarily, when you go for business, what do you expect? Profit, right? Yes, you can finish all you're supposed to do, and then you can still incur loss. Not because of negligence, not because you did not do what you're supposed to do, but yes, Allah did not destined you will make something out of that business. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, we must understand something. This life is very short. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your life. If you want to have a successful life, then if you are able to answer this question, you will know that inshallah, you will have either successful life or unsuccessful life. Your success have connection with that answer. If you are a liability to the deen, that means you are one of those Allah loves. If Allah loves you, then you have everything. If you are a liability to the deen, then you are a problem, because you are either Hizbullah or Hizbul Shaitan. And if you are on the path of Shaitan, you are a loser. It doesn't matter whatever you think you have in this world. So we need to check our lives as Muslims. As a father, as a mother, as a wife, as a son, as a daughter, as a leader, at every point in time, you are supposed to be living in line with Allah's injunction. That is the only way we can solve the problem of the world. Because certain problems we are facing in the world today are results of some disobedience to Allah. And those consequences are sent to us by Allah. So nobody can remove those consequences except the one who sent them. And for He to remove them, there is only one way to that. We should repent. We should go back to Him. Or else, those problems will continue to increase. The more you go further from Allah, the more your problem. You can make the best plan. I want us to understand something. Some problems we are facing are not coming as a result of bad leadership. Some come as a result of bad leadership, which in another way is disobedience to Allah. Some come as a result of negligence on our own part. Take for instance, today, many of us will be accusing the government, abusing the government, right? You feel they are not doing the right thing. And as a parent, you are not also doing the right thing. What's the difference? That's leadership. You don't do the right thing as a father. She doesn't do the right thing as a mother. You don't do the right thing as a child. She doesn't do the right thing. He doesn't do the right thing as a father. You don't do the right thing as a leader of an organization. You don't treat your staff well, and you are abusing the person who is at the top. He is also not treating well. The people well. What's the difference? You are dealing with people. He is dealing with people. Maybe your own is 1,000. He is dealing with 200 million. That's just the difference. It's just multiplication. There's no difference. He is a leader. You are a leader. This one is a councillor. This one is a chairman. This one is what? Is a minister. This one is a commissioner. This one is governor. This one is what? President. That's all. Today there are those that Allah will ask them about the entire world, because they have hand pertaining to how every country runs. Like those who are controlling the United Nations, because it is a body that controls the entire world. Every country is a member. They sanction whom they want, and they unsanction whom they want. Yes, they remove the president they don't like, either directly or indirectly. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, you cannot have the best world. You cannot have a happy world when you refuse to obey the owner of the world. It's something you must understand. And as a Muslim, for you to obey the owner of the world, then you must not become a liability to the deen. So each and every one of us need to begin to check himself. It's not an easy thing. That is, nothing good comes easy. It's not easy to be righteous. Like as I do say to us, don't think those of us talking are telling you we are righteous. No, we are struggling like you. Yes, some of you listening may be more righteous than some of us talking. So it's just a struggle. You are fighting with shaitan, I'm also fighting with shaitan. He's not leaving you alone, he's also not leaving me alone. It's the same way. You are a human being, I'm a human being. The way you think, that's how I think. You want good things of life, I also want good things of life. It's the same way. So my appeal to myself and the rest of us is this. Check yourself at every point in time. How submissive are you to Allah Ta'ala? How do we understand our deen? One of our biggest problems also is what? We don't understand our deen. Many of us don't learn our deen. We feel, okay, fine. Oh, you are educated. Okay, maybe you are a professor in chemistry, professor in English, and you think you are a scholar, you are learned. You are not learned. You are equipped. If you are a professor in English, professor in chemistry, professor in this, you are equivalent to the woman selling tomato inside the market. Because when you come into the market, she will teach you how to sell the tomato. It's a question of you have understanding of one aspect of the world. It's a normal thing. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. Allah is talking about those who are not God conscious. He says يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيا. They have extensive knowledge of the worldly things. وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. But regarding the hereafter, they are what? Ignorant. Everybody knows something. The way you think your work is difficult, another person's work is difficult. Yes. You may think as a medical doctor your field is difficult. Go and meet the trailer driver. He will tell you how difficult his job. You may not be able to even do it for 1 week. His own too is difficult. You can't do. You think he can do your own. You too cannot do his own. Your own is important, his own is important. If you stop your own, there will be wahala. If he also stop his own, you too will have wahala. In the same way, nobody is not important. I usually tell us something. Everybody is rich and everybody is poor. It depends on what your own interpretation of rich and poor is. Everybody is rich. Everybody is poor. Everybody have some good things that others need. And everybody have some good things in others that he needs. If the tanker drivers strike, what happens? No petrol, I mean? Yes. And everybody will suffer. If those bringing tomato say we are not bringing tomato, what happens? Yes, they will be complaining. The one packing dustbin, if you refuse to pack dustbin, everybody will know their value. Let them refuse to pack dustbin. Just for 1 month and you see. You see how everybody will begin to abuse the government. How irresponsible they are. It's not the government that refuses to pack dustbin. It is the dustbin packer that refuses to what? Pack dustbin. So the anger on them will go to everybody. No matter how beautiful a place looks, the smell will make you not even want to go to that area. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, we need to change our thinking. We create time and learn our deen and live according to our deen. We need to know that Islam is not about what you want. There's no Islam for anybody. Islam is only one, and that is the one chosen by Allah. And how you will know it is learning the Quran, understanding it and living by it. There is no Islam for Yorubas. There is no Islam for Hausas. No Islam for Arabs. No Islam for, Igbos. Islam is one, and that is why as Muslims we can do things together. Because you know what you're supposed to do. I know what you're supposed to do. When you are going out of it, I know you are going somewhere else. Inna hadhihi ummatukum ummatan wahida wa ana rabbukum fa'budun. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, we want to change the state of our country. Don't depend on Allah most. Why are we more concerned about human beings changing our state more than our Creator? Why do you think human beings can be more responsible for changing your state when you refuse to trust in your Creator? If you refuse to trust in Allah, then you've lost everything. You've lost everything. Allah, you can have the best life, even if the whole world want to what? Suffer you. They also says in the hadith, if the entire world will gather, that they will benefit you with something. They can't benefit you with anything except what Allah have written for you. If all of them will come together, that they will harm you, they can harm you with nothing except what Allah have written for you. The pen is lifted and the paper have what? Dried. Take for example, as a Muslim, if you live in an environment that is Muslim controlled, you can live happily. And when you move to an environment that is non-Muslim controlled, you can live happily. So you don't have to live in where Muslims dominate or where Muslims control before you can live a happy life. Because every environment you come to, there is a way Allah guides you to live there. That's what makes you a Muslim. He has created the world not for only Muslims. He said, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ فَمِنْكُمْ كَافِرٌ وَمِنْكُمْ مُؤْمِنٌ. When he said He created you. And before mentioning you who think you are important, he said, amongst you there are unbelievers. He mentioned the unbelievers before he even tell you who you are. So he taught you how to live with kuffar. لكم دينكم ولي دين. لا تسبوا الذين يدعون من دون الله فيسبوا الله عدوا بغير علم. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما ينهاكم الله عن الذين قاتلوكم في الدين وأخرجوكم من دياركم. So there is no place you come to live that Allah will not give you guidance. You cannot refuse the guidance of the wisest of all. and you expect to have the best of life. It's not possible. It's not possible. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, let us put our hope in our Creator first. Yes, we are having challenges. There are people who expect them to do some things due to one thing or the other. Sometimes also some of them cannot even do something because of our behavior. Sometimes, but you think they are responsible. You send your child to school. You don't send him to school to learn. You only send him to school to have certificate. So how can you have the best world as a father when you don't even give your child the right thinking? Your child, you're supposed to send him to school. So it is better your child come home with SSCE result, with F9 flat, and he can explain things in the subjects he's taught, than coming home with A's and he cannot defend the A. But as far as what we want today, you want the A's at all costs, not the knowledge at all costs. Yeah, misplacement of what? Priority. So if, as a good Muslim, you discover that you will make the best world. And like as I do say, your righteousness, if as a Muslim, the more righteous you are, the more you bring comfort to the world, the more you bring peace to the world, the more you make the world a better place. Because that's your deen, the Islam. What it is teaching you is building a good community, is building a good world. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَىٰ فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. So Islam makes you to have a good world. Islam makes you to have a loving community. Islam makes you to have a united ummah. Islam makes you to have a good leaders. That is Islam. It's not just about Salah. Salah is one of the things, but it is not only Islam. So we need to change our thinking towards the deen. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, make it easy for us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن بعد عباد الله وصيكم الله عز وجل. My brothers and sisters, indeed. So let us learn our deen. It is not a deen that will tell you that leave everything and give the whole hours to go into learn. 1 hour in a day, 2 hours in a week. At least create time to learn it, understand it, so that your actions will be based on guidance. Not according to what you think. Because most of us today, the kind of Islam we are practicing is the Islam according to our thinking. Because when you don't know something, there is no way you can do it well. It's not possible. Somebody who did not study pharmacy or did not study medicine, will you take yourself to somebody who did not study medicine and say you are going to the doctor? Or somebody who did not study pharmacy, or somebody who did not study engineering, a particular course, and then you say, okay, he's the one handling that area. Why in the case of the deen you feel anyone can do it anyhow? How do you think you can become a good Muslim when you don't learn the deen? The Muslims speak to us in a hadith that man yuridillahu bihi khayra, whoever Allah desires with good, he says what? If a people with deen, he bestows on him the understanding of the deen. You cannot do anything well when you don't understand the thing. It's not possible. Some of us have good intentions. But yes, our actions are what? Not right. There's a hadith, though there's a comment on it, Allah A'lam bi sihhatihi. It is saying what? Afatu deen thalat. 3 people are what? Problem to the deen. Are liability to the deen. Faqihun fajir, the learned one, who doesn't live by his knowledge. Then the second person, he say what? Faqihun imamun jahil, a tyrant leader. Then the third person, he say what? Mujtahidun jahil, a devotee, that is one who wants to practice Islam, but what? Ignorant. So take yourself out of these 3. Learn, practice. Practice with knowledge. Don't practice based on what? Ignorance. Because Allah will not accept the deen you created for yourself. He will accept only the deen He created for you. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for us to be able to learn our deen, to practice our deen. Wherever each and every one of us is making mistakes, may Allah Ta'ala guide us. Our leaders, may Allah Ta'ala, those on the right path, may Allah Ta'ala strengthen them on the path. Those on the wrong path, may Allah Ta'ala bring them to the path. And what we need to do to give them the ability to bring the kind of good environment we pray that Allah Ta'ala make it easy for them. And then the insecurity we are having, may Allah Ta'ala take us out of it. We pray that Allah Ta'ala make our brothers and sisters good Muslims, that yes, when evils are done, you don't have a Muslim name inside. Because when we change like this, that is also part of the result. Because you are supposed to see evils. If names are listed, the name of Muslims inside should be 0 or at least barest minimum. There's no community you can say 100% perfect. You can have that. Because no single human being is 100% perfect. But if your sin or the evil in you, 10% is like you have nothing. And that's the kind of community we want to have. We want to have crimes committed and Muslim names are out of it. Not because you are afraid of God, but because you are afraid of your Creator. That's the kind of community we want to have. We want to have communities that will one day begin to tell government, reduce the money you are spending on weapons, because we don't need those weapons anymore, because those people to use the weapons on them are not available. That's the kind of communities we want to have. But today the communities we have are communities that what? We need more weapons, because there are more people to use the weapons on them. And as parents, we need to begin to work on our children. Work on your child. Don't raise a child that somebody is buying weapon to use on him. Raise a child that yes, he will be people they buy weapons for to protect others. So we can't begin to accuse people alone. We too, we need to work on ourselves. May Allah Ta'ala make our children God-conscious children. Those who will be blessed to us in this world and in the hereafter. And each and every one of you and the rest of us, wherever we move, evil people, may Allah protect us from them. And good people, may Allah bring them close to us and take us close to them. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله